So unfortunately, sorry Arai, I was ready to buy, willing to buy, was going to come away today with a Tour X4. Didn't happen, not today. Right, hello, good morning. Today we're going to go to Infinity Motorcycles in Camberley, do a bit of window shopping and have a look, because I might just have to get a new helmet because the MX-9 is so incredibly noisy. Last minute decision to leave the glasses behind. That was an error. Actually, it is quite sunny. Ah, nice, it's right there. So, I just came from Infinity Motorcycles in Camberley, and I was pretty sure I was going to buy an Arai Tour X4 helmet, and I didn't, and here's why. So, I have an odd-shaped head, apparently, according to Arai. The large is a 59 centimeter sized helmet and very, very tight. This is 59 to 60, and you'll remember that it leaves a red mark on my head, which is why I'm considering buying another one, and it's very noisy and some other bits and pieces as well. So I thought, well, maybe now's the time. This was relatively cheap, I think it was 180 quid, so not that much of a problem really in the grand scheme of things. However, when I put the large Arai Tour X4 on, it was very, very tight, which is to be expected given that it's the same size technically as this, which is the one I don't want anymore. So obviously get an XL, I hear you say. So the XL reads on the back 62 centimeters. And for whatever reason, it is incredibly roomy and too big. So even any kind of slight pressure on the front of the helmet, and you push up, the helmet moves, even with it done up. Obviously, no good. I need a size in between to fit me. No good, which is a real shame because I really liked it. However, one thing I will also say about the Arai, given that it's quite an expensive helmet, I did expect more for it. On this strap, that when you have a D-ring fastener, once you've done it up, you have a bit that kind of dangles around, and you have a popper. I don't know if you can see, but the popper holds that bit so it doesn't like whip around while you're riding along. The receiving part, if you will, of the popper on the Arai was buried in the cheek pad, which was really, really strange because I couldn't get to it. So I don't know, Arai users out there, if you struggle with it, or perhaps my fingers weren't working the way they should today, but I stood in front of a mirror, no gloves on, and I was trying to get the excess loop up into the cheek pad to try and fasten that on, and it simply would not go, to the point where I very quietly but audibly said, "This is ridiculous. How are you supposed to do this? You know, if you're out and about on your bike and your lid's coming on and off, that's going to be a real pain, it's a real faff." And there's absolutely no hope that you'd be able to do it with gloves. It's very difficult anyway, so that's not really a fair test, but there's absolutely zero hope. If your life depended on it, to do that helmet up and put that popper on the keeper, wearing gloves, you may as well get your affairs in order and tell your loved ones that you aren't coming back, because it just will not happen. So really disappointed. It's a £550 helmet. Infinity Motorcycles are selling them for $350 in the white and $400 in their various colour schemes that they come in. So ultimately, I am not equipped for an Arai, or an Arai is not equipped for me. I consider myself a fairly average bloke, but evidently I do not have an average head according to Arai. So I very, very, very much recommend, obviously I know most of you would anyway, but I very, very, very much recommend, if you are considering buying an Arai Tour X4, go and put one on somewhere and really try and get it done up properly. Don't just put it on your head and say, yeah, that kind of fits. You know, really go and try it on, do it up, and see how it feels properly, because it was a pain. So unfortunately, sorry Arai, I was ready to buy, willing to buy, was going to come away today with a Tour X4, didn't happen, not today. So I'm stuck with Old Faithful, the noisy and slightly too small Bell MX-9 for now. However, I will say, the kind folk at Infinity Motorcycles in Camberley did point me towards a Shoei, a Nolan ADV. No, not Nolan, something else ADV, and I can't remember what it is. I'll put it on the screen now what it was. Full price $569.99, so a little bit out of my wheelhouse for today, but it fit beautifully. It didn't have the silly strap bit going on that I was telling you about, and I think that's probably going to be something that I will kind of work towards, and potentially be giving Shoei my money for their ADV offering. Both helmets are, in terms of safety spec, the same, and in terms of kind of the gubbins inside all of the cheek pads and all that, you can definitely see there's a huge difference between what's inside those two and what's inside mine, which will have a great effect on all of the kind of sound deadening and everything that you'd expect, you know, from a helmet that's more money. There's a quality in that product. I have no doubt Arai's are fantastic, but you do have to have a very specifically sized head, and I do not fall into that category, unfortunately. But it could be that the Shoei is going to be the contender when I have Shoei funds. Right now I was working towards and achieved Arai funds. Now I have to continue in my funds management and wait until I have Shoei funds. Shocker.